What's up, guys? Mano here. Welcome back to the channel. Back in the van, and yeah, I am gonna tell you a story because apparently I have nothing, lined up for this weekend or this Sunday's video, which is this video, by the way. I'm currently working on a long-term review video of the VTX 1800, the bike that you've seen me ride around, and the bike that I crashed. And in spite of the fix, I'm currently making a video about that. Still making the script, trying to make it as detailed as possible. Not exactly like all specs and stuff like that. Based more on how I feel about the VTX and stuff. But anyway, intro. So the story that I have for you today is related to another motorcycle that I sold back in 2020. This was around November. Yeah, I sold this. It was a 2005 Yamaha Vstar 1100 Classic. Now, those bikes are pretty hard to find here in the Philippines. They were not, sold here locally by any dealership. They were imported by private individuals and people who had connections in the government, in customs, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a pretty rare find for me that time, because a lot of people who own V-Stars here in the Philippines, they have no plans of selling it. And it just so happens, I encountered one, and turns out it was owned by a well-known motorcyclist here in Cebu, and then he was going through some hard times. He was sick. He was dying of cancer, and they needed the money to pay for the bills. And then here comes his son-in-law, or nephew actually, and approached me. Hey, you want to buy this bike? And then I said, yeah, sure, why not? So yeah, because I sell stuff. I buy and sell stuff, on the side, and I thought to myself, this could be a good flip for me. And at the same time, I get to help somebody, pay the bills, especially medical bills, for cancer, because, those bills are really expensive. I do not know how much, but I assume they're probably a life savings worth, maybe. So anywho, I'm going to tell you the price that I bought it for. I'm going to tell you the price that I sold it for towards the end of this video. So, it was a 2005 Yamaha Vstar 1100 Classic. You can tell it's the Classic because it's got the same size wheels front and back. They're a bit chunkier. They have full fenders front and back. And it looks like a mini Fat Boy, or a mini Road King, or a mini, a Heritage Harley Davidson Classic. Yeah, something. It's a Japanese clone of Harley, actually. And yeah, the bike had around 35,000 miles on it, because it was in the US version, so it's miles. If it were like European, it should have been kilometers. So yeah, 35,000 miles. So I looked at it, it was in pretty rough shape, but not really down to the ground, out of shape. It was just dirty, and it was there were dents here, there were scratches here and stuff like that, and it came with a set of leather saddlebags, and it was generally stock except for the exhaust, which was a Vance & Hines slash something. I forgot the name of the exhaust that was on it, but it was pretty good. Vstar 1100 is actually has the same engine as the Virago 1100. If you're familiar with the Virago, those were a hit back in the 80s and the 90s. It was Yamaha's answer to the Sportster and their Dyna. And they cut the Virago out, but saved the engine and transferred it to the Vstar line. So that's what you have. So 1100 cc's, around 60 plus horsepower, torque roughly the same, around maybe 70 to 80 foot-pounds of torque. And then had a 5-speed manual transmission, and it is air-cooled. Overall, I really like the Vstar because it had enough power. It wasn't that heavy also for a cruiser, and the seat was so low to the ground that if I put my feet down on the ground, my knees would bend, you know. So typical cruiser. It had floorboards. What was weird though was the previous owner added risers, but stuck to the beach bar style handlebars. So it was kind of weird at first, and then but you know I did some adjustments, you know, move it forward and back, and you know, it felt great. Yeah, I got the bike, brought it home. You know, did some cleaning, you know, cleaned the stuff, had the crash bars, you know, polished, and then eventually I had it painted, you know, stuff on the bike that needed some TLC, like the paint, the tires, of course, and then everything, you know, I did everything to make the bike run better and look better. The bike wasn't really that in a rough shape, so all of those dents were just, you know, tiny dents that I had, you know, to deal with, and then the paint needed some polish, you know, nothing, a little bit of elbow grease and a buffing pad could, you know, fix. So, and then all those chrome bits on the Vstar were like, they had these water stains. So, you know, I did an experiment. You know, I bought myself a 3M chrome and stainless steel polish spray, and I used a Scotch Brite pad, you know, the green one that you use for the plates, you know, rubbed everything there and stuff like that. And it turned out really well. You know, it came out really nice. It was back to, you know, probably like a used but well taken cared for condition. Of course, I had the oil change, you know, had the tires checked and everything. Yeah, you know, I rode it. And I rode it with the wife. You know, we went down south to Santander, which is the southernmost part of Cebu, and yeah, I went to typical, you know, back roads up here in Cebu, the infamous TCH, Trans Central Highway, where all the bikers would go. So yeah, I had a really good time with the bike. You know, it handled really well. The power was more than enough. It was pretty entertaining. It was really torquey, and I really liked the fact that it had shaft drive, because I didn't have to worry about maintaining a chain, or, you know, worry about a brittle belt. Just a matter of, you know, changing the gear oil in the housing. I forgot what you call that, and poured in fresh fluid, and there you go. All in all, you know, the Vstar 1100 was a really good bike. You know, I really enjoyed that bike. But then again, you know, I had to make money, so I had to flip it. So I paid around 200,000 pesos. So in US dollars, that would be around $4,000. Yeah, I know, it's pretty expensive. Paying for a Vstar here is like paying for a used Harley in your place. So I know for a fact that Vstar 1100s in your place cost way less. Probably like around $2,000 or, you know, 1,500. It depends actually. I paid 4,000. So with all the stuff that I did, you know, I posted it online, and somebody asked me, you know, he another customer, he wasn't from Cebu. He was actually from Iloilo, which is a nearby island, which is a 30-minute plane ride or a day's worth of motorcycle riding through the island of Negros and all the way to Iloilo. Yeah, we exchanged messages. Turns out that the guy was living in New York. So, well, really, he's in New York and he wants to buy my bike. What really surprised me also with that transaction was the guy trusted me. And my golden rule when it comes to selling a motorcycle is always be honest with your item. You know, always be honest about the vehicle that you're selling, because you can screw the sale or whatever. What's really important for me is the connection and the relationship with this person. You may not close a deal, and at least there is a profit in terms of a new relationship, you know, a new friend. That is what really matters to me. Now, yeah, we closed the deal under the arrangement that I send it to the nearest port, and then his nephew would come over because they had, a special permit to cross borders, because this was still pandemic time. Border control was really bad, strict, and you can't, cross islands, easily as like, now. The agreement was, I would meet him at around 12 noon, but he arrived at 9 p.m. But yeah, it was worth it anyway. So there he had a look at the bike, took it around, the port area, because still he couldn't get out of the port area. It was only me and him, having a conversation. And then he paid me. He paid me 290,000 pesos. So that is roughly $6,000. And yeah, I made a good profit. I made a good profit, out of that Vstar, and that was actually it. So anyway, that concludes my story. I know it's a crappy ending. I'm really sorry. Yeah, but tell you what about the Vstar. The Vstar is a really nice bike. If you ever happen to encounter a Vstar in good shape, go ahead, buy it. Especially if they're offering you a good deal. Yeah, because those bikes are kind of hard to find these days. I tried searching on Facebook Marketplace in North America and some parts of Europe. They're kind of hard to find, actually. And it was kind of a probably like a surprise on my part, because somebody is offering a Vstar to me here in Cebu. So crazy. The Vstar is actually a very reliable motorcycle. It's bulletproof. It's well designed. If you find one, especially the classic. I don't like the custom, because there are actually two. There's the Vstar Classic and the Vstar Custom. I don't really like the custom. I prefer the Classic because of the looks, the full fenders. It's like a genuine cruiser. When you think of the word cruiser, it's the kind of silhouette that appears in your head, that pops in your head. You get the idea. Again, it handled really well. The power was perfect, and it was basically no maintenance at all. And yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you liked it, you give it a thumbs up. And if you want more content from me, feel free to subscribe. It helps me a lot. It helps me grow this channel. Stay tuned. I might upload my VTX review on Wednesday or probably Sunday of next week. And I'm gonna be, doing a lot of fancy editing, using my phone. But yeah, I'm still finishing the script. Anyway, that's it. See you next time. Bye.